Hey, what's up, guys? It's Tiara, and welcome back to my channel. I feel like I haven't spoken to you guys in forever, and you know what? I take full responsibility for that. I do. It's on me. I went MIA for a very long time. However, I'm back. So I thought we can do something really cute, really fun, really lighthearted today, and do just a simple everyday makeup look. But I also wanted to chit chat with you guys. So Valentine's Day was a few days ago. Happy belated Valentine's Day, by the way. I hope that you really took that day, whether you're in a relationship or not, to just feel love. Whether it's self-love or love from a partner, from a family member, from a friend, I just really hope you took time out to focus on yourself, one, but to just really embrace the essence of what love is. And that may look different for all of us, but as long as you took a moment, whether it be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, it's a-okay in my book. So once again, happy belated Valentine's Day. And staying along with that theme, Valentine's Day love, I wanted to discuss with you guys Love is Blind Season 2. So I'm just going to start to get my stuff together for my makeup while I talk to you. First thing first, Love is Blind Season 2, it's giving very much struggle love. It is. It's giving pain. It's giving trauma. It's giving very much ghetto. I don't understand. So I'm getting excited. Before we even jump into that, Love is Blind is a reality TV show that premieres solely on Netflix. And what happens is basically couples go into this thing called the pod, where they don't see each other. They're just simply communicating through like a wall. So they only hear each other's voices, and they only hear each other's responses to certain questions and prompts and things of that nature. So the idea is love is supposed to be blind. You're supposed to fall in love with people's personality, their spirit, their essence, so on and so forth. So I can't exactly remember how many couples were sent into the pods exactly, but I was super excited because I saw a lot of Black people. I get excited when I see Black people on TV. What can I say? And I know there was one girl, Chastity, I was really excited for because she didn't have that stereotypical European body. She had curves. She was voluptuous. She was a sister. I was like, oh, it's about to be lit with the representation. And then, so what happens is they dropped like 5 episodes, maybe like a week or 2 ago. I can't keep up. I just watched it, honestly. And they're going to drop 5 more episodes this weekend. And then whenever the finale is going to happen, I guess the finale will be like a week or 2 from now. But we're solely discussing the first 5 episodes. Okay, so boom. All these amazing people, and I use the term amazing very loosely, all of these amazing people go into the pod because they're excited to find love and they're excited to get married. And the general consensus is you fall in love in the pod and then you get married. No, you get engaged in the pod after you fall in love. The person accepts, and then you get married like a month or 2 after that. Don't quote me on that. It's a really fast process. So boom. I'm using this pomade. I'm not going to go through all my makeup because I can't focus on 2 topics at one time. Don't judge me. Anyway, so let's start with the first couple. I had to write down their names because, girl, I am not good with names at all. So, what I wanted to talk about was the fact that a lot of TV shows, a lot of different things in the media, especially within the minority communities, promote basically being drugged through the mud in order to receive a good thing, in order to receive love. You know, ever since we were little kids, we were taught to be ride or dies, and that was interpreted as basically let your partner dog you out, let them talk to you crazy, let them abuse you, let them disrespect you, whatever it means for that particular day. And then once you prove yourself worthy, maybe that person will settle down with you, right? And that's the vibe I'm also getting from Love is Blind season 2. So there's a couple on there. There's a black couple. Whoop whoop. So his name is Jared, the guy, and the girl name is Ayanna. Ayanna is a beautiful woman. She's very high-spirited. She has a very beautiful personality. She has jokes. I think she's a well-rounded individual. You can tell she has a lot going on for herself. And I was really excited to see a black woman portrayed this way on television. I was like, wow, this girl is absolutely amazing. And she linked up with Jared, so they're talking in the pods, and I feel very hopeful for their relationship, okay? Because their relationship, as they're talking, they're filming different conversations in the pods. You see them connecting on a deeper level. They're sharing things that are very in-depth. Jared's telling her how he was stabbed brutally by a friend the previous year, and that's something he hasn't felt comfortable sharing with someone before. So I thought that was very awesome that, he was opening up, just as a black man, as a man in general, being very much open to the possibility of just letting someone see you and hear you as you are. And Ayanna's telling her, she's had a very troubled childhood. I can't remember exactly. I believe she was adopted, and her mom left at a very early age, and she actually was sexually assaulted when she was younger as well. So, she's laying it all on the line, telling Jared how much genuine connections mean to her, how her past is what made her who she is today. And not only are they having these in-depth conversations, but they're also joking around. You can tell, like, the energy is on 10 as soon as they step in the pods together. They're both very excited. They're both very happy. And it's just a general good time. So naturally, I'm very excited for this young black couple. So fast forward, Jared. Oh, Jared. Jared also develops feelings for this girl named Mallory. Now, Mallory is a Hispanic woman, so she's also a minority. And honestly, I'm rooting for everyone black and brown. That's just how I get down, Black and brown for the win. And every other day, Jared gets on camera and he's like, oh, it's just so hard to choose. Oh God, this is like really hard to draw my eyebrows on. It's just so hard to choose. Every other day, I'm just falling for both of them. My feelings change every day. One day it's Mallory. One day it's Ayanna. I just don't know who I like more. He's developing feelings for more of these women. And granted, we can't see all of the conversations they have on the show because you have to cut it down and edit. But just solely off of what they show us, like I said, his conversations with Ayanna are very well-rounded. So they're in-depth, they're jokey, they're just covering all of the bases. But when he talks to Mallory, it seems very surface level to me from what I can see. they're talking about sports. They're talking about getting drinks. She's talking about how she's a guy's girl. She likes to do different things. Like, she's basically like a homeboy for her partner. And Jared is just like eating it up. Oh, Mallory. And I'm just like, anyway, so he's falling for Mallory. He's falling for Ayanna. And then the day comes where the men decide who they're going to propose to. And we're watching them throughout this process. And Jared's like, I think I know who I'm going to choose. I think I've made my choice. And, they have like this really intense music playing in the background. And I'm like, oh, this is not doing good for my anxiety, child. My heart's beating fast. Tell me why. This Negro, as he's getting ready to propose, he walks into the room with Mallory. So he's like talking to Mallory, and he's like, oh, I know we've talked about building a family together and what our lives would look like with one another if we were to leave this experiment together. And what would you say if I ask you to be my wife? Like, what would you say if I were to propose right now? And you can tell Mallory's a little hesitant. So things get a little quiet, awkwardly, like awkward quiet, like grasshoppers in the background. And Mallory starts crying. She starts crying, and I was like, oh. So, background on Mallory. Mallory is also falling for two people. I can't remember the other guy's name for the life of me, and I don't even think I wrote it down. Crap. We're just going to call him Ben, girl, because I don't got time to look it up. So, really, Mallory, she has feelings for Jared and Ben, but she thinks her feelings for Ben are more authentic. So she's crying and she's telling Jared, I'm so sorry. I don't think this will work. My feelings are stronger for someone else. So now her and Jared are crying in the pods. And it gets to a point, they're like ugly crying too, girl. And it gets to a point where Jared's like, it's not funny. It gets to a point where Jared is like, I just don't know what to say. And then he storms out. He's a stormer outer. So he walks out. He goes, and what they have is like the women and the men separated onto two different sides of the building, the apartment, wherever the hell they are. So the women are on one side, the men are on the other side. So he goes back to the men's side, and he's obviously upset, and people are like circling around him, and they're like, oh, bro, what's going on? So on and so forth. And he's like, I basically posed the question to Mallory, what would she do if I asked her to marry me? And she said no. So everyone's like, oh, bro, don't worry about it. It's fine. It's going to be okay. And then they encourage him, like, don't worry about it because you have a backup plan, essentially. His backup plan being, i.e., Ayanna. Ayanna loves you. She really cares for you. And, this just makes your decision easier as far as who you should choose or where you should be. So Jared is obviously upset. There's multiple scenes of him crying and gathering himself. And then fast forward, he then goes to the pod to meet Ayanna. So Ayanna's super excited. Well, she was super excited to see him. However, mind you, Mallory came back on the girl's side visibly upset. Remember, Mallory and Jared were both crying. And Ayanna knew that Mallory liked Jared as well. So the fact that she came back crying to the girl's side, Ayanna was smart enough to go, okay, something happened between her and Jared. So, Ayanna comes to the pod with Jared and she's like, hi, what's up? What's going on? And Jared was like, which I do applaud him for doing this. He was like, I have to be honest with you. I basically just asked Mallory how would she feel if I proposed to her. And she told me no. So naturally, Ayanna is upset because Ayanna hadn't connected with anyone in the pods besides Jared. So her feelings for him had grown very strong, and the fact that she even felt comfortable enough to be vulnerable with him and share different traumas and different things from her past, she was obviously heartbroken, right? So she's upset, she's crying, and then she's basically, and he eventually asked Ayanna to marry him, right? And Ayanna's like asking the important questions, asking the big questions. Ayanna's like, would you have asked me to marry you if Mallory hadn't said what she said? Like, if Mallory said, yeah, I can see myself with you, would you be with her instead of here with me right now? Girl, the tea is hot. So Jared, he's like, honestly, I don't know. And Ayanna's like, I don't want to play second fiddle to anybody. I don't want to be anybody's second choice. And she's absolutely right. She's absolutely right. And what made me think about it was, this is only possible. Like, we only know this because there's cameras present. And it made me think about all the times where we may be second, third, fourth, fifth options to people, and we have no clue because this isn't on television. It's not on television. So I was like, dang. And so basically, after thinking about it, she realizes that their connection is really strong, and she makes him promise to her, to actually work on the relationship, to actually work on building something with her, so on and so forth, blah, 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 blah. Jared and Ayanna end up together. Mallory ends up saying yes to Ben. Fast forward, there's a part where after the couples meet each other, so there's a part in the pod where they actually meet each other face to face to see what each couple or each person they chose look like. After they meet each other for the first time, they then go on like a little mini bay vacation. And at the bay vacation, basically they're spending time together to see, like in a vacation type setting, if they have what it takes to actually last. So before, it was going solely off of spiritual, emotional, mental connections because you obviously can't see them physically. And the bay vacation part is seeing if the physical connection measures up to what you felt emotionally in the pods. So there comes a part where all the couples actually get to see each other. So all the couples that chose each other, they like go out for drinks. And Ayanna and Jared are there as a couple, as well as Mallory and Ben. So at first, Jared, his pride is hurt, his ego is crushed because Mallory told him no, so he's obviously avoiding her. You can see him like actively taking steps to avoid her through this whole interaction. But then one of his homeboys come over and they're like, dude, just go talk to her, just put everything on the table, whatever. So Jared goes over and talks to her. Girl, why this conversation turn into like a 30-minute conversation? Why y'all talking so long? Why are y'all talking so like y'all weak in the knees, stand up. Stand up.
Y'all be weak in the knees, stand up. Stand up.
So you can tell like they're obviously vibing each other, and Jared is just saying a whole bunch of unnecessary, inappropriate stuff. He's like, yeah, I've been thinking about you. I never forgot about you. My feelings are still there. Like saying stuff along that lines. And they give each girl an engagement ring when they propose. And one point in the pods, Mallory told Jared that she wanted a gold ring and her fiance got her a silver one. And Jared is making smug comments like, oh, that's not even the ring you wanted. I would have got you a gold ring because we talked about that in the pods. And I was like, why would you even say that? Like, why are you trying to make the next man look bad? She already said no. Let it go and move on. But it's just a whole lot of kikiing. Their knees end up touching while they're sitting beside each other. Jared is like goo goo gaga over her. And he's like, oh yeah, what we had was real. Saying all this stuff, child. Mind you, Ayanna and Ben are like 10 feet away. They're like 10 feet away and they can obviously see what's going on between freaking Jared and Mallory. So Ben, he peeps game and he gets upset. Right? He gets upset. He tells the cameraman, I don't want to be here anymore. Ben straight up said, I'm finna holla and I'll catch y'all later. Holla back. I just can't be here anymore. Because he sees that there's quote unquote fireworks between Jared and Mallory. And now he's realizing, oh, was I her second choice? Like, did she really want to be here with Jared? Actually, Jared and Ayanna, I forgot to mention, their honeymoon started off really well. Jared was being very attentive to her, and he even brought her a camera, which was something she mentioned in the pods that she wanted. So they were connecting on all forms, but as soon as he saw Mallory, he decided to act. Okay. Second couple I wanted to discuss. We're going to come back to that one later on, Ayanna and Jared. We have Shake and Deeps. I love their names, by the way. So they are an Indian couple, and I can already tell from the beginning that it was going to be a crap show because Shake is the man and Deeps is the woman. Shake came into the pods with a very materialistic, very physical approach, right? He's the type of man, he actually vocalized multiple times in the pod, yeah, I usually only date white women with blonde hair. When I first came to America, that was one of the first things I saw, snow and blonde white women. So that's just naturally what I go for. And my immediate thought is, so you hate yourself. Got it. But you know, Deeps, she's also an Indian woman. And she came in and was like, oh yeah, usually I only date white men. And hers, it didn't, to me at least, it didn't seem like it was coming from a self hatred type of place. It seemed like it was coming from a place of this is all I was exposed to growing up. So that's just what I gravitated towards. I didn't really have much experience with people from my culture. That's what it gave me from Deeps. Shake, it seemed like he was intentionally seeking out white counterparts. So already I'm like, I don't know how I feel about Shake. He's not my favorite. And then Shake also goes on to say in the pods, yeah, you know, I like for my women to look a certain type of way physically as well. Like, if I can't lift you up and put you on my shoulder, it probably wouldn't work. And I get it, everyone has their preference, but what is that to say? He even goes so far as to say, would you consider yourself a woman that I could lift up and put on my shoulders? And he's not only saying this to Deeps, he's saying this to multiple women in the pod. Like every woman who comes into his pod, he's basically asking them, how big are you? Child, it's a time. Anyway, fast forward, Shake kind of realizes that he's being a total dickhead. And he's like, oh, you know what? I probably shouldn't have said that. Those are things I shouldn't ask women, so on and so forth. And him and Deeps actually decide to take a chance on each other. They take a chance on each other, and he asks Deeps to marry him, and Deeps says yes. So they're living in the ever lap of luxury, right? Method Man. And so they meet each other, and they go on the vacation. They go on the vacation, and basically every opportunity Shake gets to tell the cameraman, to tell his homeboys, to tell production, to tell the cameraman, to tell his homeboys, to tell production, to tell his homegirls, to tell the cameraman. Like, multiple times he's saying, yeah, I'm not physically attracted to Deeps. When I tell you, this man must have said that at least 10 to 15 times. It's like, this is the camera. As soon as they put it on Shake, he's like, yeah, I'm not attracted to Deeps. And I was like, he is so rude. Like, you do know she's going to see this afterwards, right? And I'm thinking about Deeps now because I'm like, whenever they do get back home and production filming is finished, she's going to look back on these episodes and go, oh my God, the person that I chose and who supposedly chose me is embarrassing me on national television. So, yeah, okay. So, Shake isn't attracted to Deeps. That's their love story so far. They meet in the pods. After they get out, Shake is saying how unattractive Deeps is to him. Okay. Okay, I'm back. I had to put my eyelashes on off camera because I'm not a beauty guru. Who do y'all think I am, child? Anyways. So the third couple in the pods that caught my attention was Shayna, Shayna, and Natalie. So it's more like a throuple. So Shane is the guy. He's a white guy. Shayna is a white woman. And Natalie is an Asian woman. And Shane is just... he has to have one of the most irritating voices I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, every time he talks, I'm just like, what is happening? Also, I just want to, this is not sponsored, obviously, because who am I? But I just wanted to shout out Fit Me by freaking Maybelline. I went back to this old reliable classic maybe like a couple of months ago, and I'm just extremely happy. I love it here. Anyway, Shane is in the pods just being that stereotypical white male. Very much narcissistic. Very much, hey, let's focus on me. Let's make this about me. And the women are just eating it up. Eating it up for God only knows why, child. So Natalie, I actually love Natalie. She's a high-spirited woman. You can tell she's very intelligent. You know, she's also one of those people, she actually said herself, because she's an Asian woman, a lot of people don't expect her to be so opinionated, so outspoken, and just vocal about her needs and her wants. So naturally, a lot of times when people meet her, they go, oh, I didn't expect that from you. And her immediate reaction is, oh, why? Because I'm Asian? So yeah, Natalie, I like Natalie. She's fun. She's fun. Natalie ends up falling for Shane. And Shane is another man in the pod who has multiple options. So Shane also ends up falling for Shayna. Once again, you can tell their relationship, Shane's and Shayna's relationship, is very surface level. I am convinced it's only sexual. Like, they don't talk about anything, as far as we can see, on camera of any substance. Nothing deep, nothing substantial is ever discussed between Shayna and Shane. In fact, every single time, Shane steps into the pods with Shayna, he asks her, hey, what are you wearing? Every time. Everything, every time. Every time. Like, and not even, hey, how's your day going? How are you? Immediately, Shane steps into the pod and is like, what you wearing? And Shayna always tells him. So he ends up falling for Shayna, I think, simply because he wants to sleep with her. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. But Natalie falls for him, and I'm not exactly sure why Natalie falls for him. Because they did have deep conversations-ish. But nonetheless, Natalie falls for him. And Shane even tells the men back on the men's side that he liked Natalie first because she liked him. Natalie, once again, is a vocal woman, and she expressed to Shane, hey, I really like you, and I enjoyed the connection that we're making. And because Natalie gave Shane that attention, he then fell for her. Narcissism. Once again, narcissism shows its head. And it gets to a point where, I can't exactly remember what happened. I think Shane vocalizes that he likes Natalie as well. No, he asked Natalie to be his girlfriend, right? And before this, he's also whispering sweet nothings to Shayna. And of course, it's going to get back to each woman because they live on the woman's side together. So Natalie gets upset because she hears about some of the things Shane has been saying to Shayna. And Shayna gets upset because she hears about some of the things Shane has been saying to Natalie. Fast forward once again. Natalie steps into the pod with Shane and he doesn't know that it's Natalie. He's slipping on his pimp game and he thought it was Shayna. So Natalie walks in the room, she sits down. Shane is thinking he's talking to Shayna and he goes, "Hey Shayna, what are you wearing? Shayna, can you hear me? Shayna, what are you wearing?" So once again, mind you, they can't see each other, right? So Shane is making a complete donkey of himself, right? And Natalie's just sitting there like,
hell to the no, to the no, 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 no. Hell no, no, to the no, no.
what? So one, this man done call you a different woman's name. And when he thought you were a different woman, he approached you immediately with sexual references. If it was me, I would have got up and left. That tells me everything I need to know. That just lets you know what kind of conversations him and Shayna are having. But Natalie stayed. I'm going to need my good sis to know when to move on and to know when they deserve better. Natalie stays, and in true narcissistic form, Shane begins to gaslight her. Immediately, he's like, is this going to be a problem? After he realizes it's Natalie, is this going to be a problem? Like, I really feel like this shouldn't be that big of a deal. Like, are you upset with me right now? Because you shouldn't be. First of all, don't tell me how I should or shouldn't feel. That's number one. Two, if I want to make this a big deal, I will. And I shall. So he's gaslighting her, and Natalie is just sitting there and taking it. It's like boom, 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 boom. Shane is just hitting her with every left and right hook that he has. And Shayna is just sitting there like, yeah, I am upset. Mind you, she's not really getting any words out because being the true narcissist Shane is, he's not letting her talk because he knows he done messed up. He done messed up. So, long story short, after Shane completely gaslights her, he storms out the room as if he's the one who should be upset. So once again, Natalie is just sitting there and Shane storms out. Then, just to shut Natalie up, a few days later, Shane asks her to be his girlfriend. Because he's like, okay, I gotta rectify this issue somehow. And obviously, it's not gonna happen with me just talking to her. So she forgives him once he asks her to be his girlfriend. Shayna hears that Shane asked Natalie to be his girlfriend. And she approaches Shane and she's like, did you ask Natalie to be your girlfriend? And Shane took 20 minutes to answer because he's not a real nigga. And finally he says, yeah, I did. And then Shayna's like, well, we have nothing else to talk about because you have a girlfriend now. So Shayna gets up and walks out. Boom. Fast forward, Shane ends up asking Natalie to be his fiance. Natalie says yes. Before he asked Natalie to be his fiance, Shayna comes back and she's like, hey, I wasn't completely honest with you before. I just want you to know that I have real deep feelings for you. This is right before Shane is about to ask Natalie to marry him. So they threw a little spice in the mix. Eventually, Shane ends up saying he doesn't care because he feels like Shayna should have vocalized to him sooner what true feelings she really had. So ultimately, he ended up choosing Natalie, and Shayna ended up choosing her backup option. Don't even remember that guy's name, but I feel so bad for him. Oh my God. The amount of times the second option was a thing on this show this season, child, it's a time. It's really a time. Fast forward, once again, everyone is on the freaking vacation, and the person who Shayna chooses, she not feeling dude at all. And she being really rude and disrespectful about it. So this is like, of course it's a vacation, so this is like the first night where the couples get to spend the night together. Why does Shayna pack her bags and tell him, hey, so it's the first night, I'm just gonna sleep in a separate room? Mind you, this guy is absolutely smitten with her. Like, when I tell you his nose is wide open, he loves him some Shayna, child. He loved him some Shayna. So like Natalie, he's taking the punches. Right? And so they agreed to sleep in different rooms. Fast forward to the morning time, production tells old boy, let's just call him Ryan. Because I don't remember his name either, child. Honestly, if you're not a minority, the name just slips. It just slips from my memory. But production tells Ryan that, oh, actually, Shayna has left the resort. She's no longer on the island, and she went back home. So now my man Ryan is at the resort by himself, and everybody else all booed up on the vacation. And Ryan's so stupid. Bless his little stupid heart. Oh, bless the baby. He's so naive. He don't realize when somebody not feeling him. He goes, yeah, I just think this is something that I have to fight for, and I have to prove to Shayna, you know, that I'm here for the long haul. I'm here to stay, and we're going to make this work. Well, Shayna, she don't want you. Oh my God. So fast forward to Natalie and Shane at the vacation. Every chance Shane gets, he tells Natalie, hey, I don't feel like you're giving me enough attention. Hey, I don't feel like you're telling me nice things. Hey, I don't feel like you're showering me with compliments. Narcissism. He wants Natalie to shower him with compliments day in and day out. And Natalie, she's kind of like me. She's jokey. So she cracks a lot of jokes. She uses a lot of sarcasm constantly throughout her day. And Shane's like, you got to stop doing that. You got to tell me how you really feel about me. You got to tell me how nice I look. You got to tell me how happy you are to be here. And Natalie, she's like, are you serious? Are you for real? And Shane's like, yeah, if this is going to work. So, child, we got Natalie and Shane. Oh, Lord. We got Ayanna and Jared. And we got Mallory and whatever the heck her fiance name is. It's giving embarrassing. And so much for like Jared and Ayanna. Like I told you how he embarrassed her once he met up with Mallory, once all the couples got together. I said not during Black History Month. Not during Black History Month. Between Jared embarrassing Ayanna, Mallory embarrassing whatever his name is, and Shane just being a total narcissist on national television. I just thought about it. Like, borderline, all of these couples, like one person is the other person's second option. It's giving embarrassing.
Are you not ashamed of yourself? Are you not embarrassed? This is really embarrassing.
It's giving embarrassing, and quite frankly, I'm ashamed for you all. And you're probably asking yourself, Tiara, what was the purpose of this video? Truthfully, I just wanted to get on here and talk. That's what I'm here for. But also, I really just wanted to discuss this with someone because I was like, are y'all watching this? Do y'all see what I see? So please, y'all, and if you haven't watched the show, you know, forgive me for the spoilers, but I mean, you stayed this long, so obviously you were entertained. But tell me, drop down in the comments below, how do you feel about these couples? Who do you think is going to last? Because, like, these are just the first 5 episodes, right? They're supposed to be dropping more episodes this weekend, I believe. So, who do you think? Who's built to last? Who won't make it? How do you feel about the absolute insanity of just the struggle of it all? I think we all want someone who not only makes us feel seen, but who makes us feel heard. Someone who empowers us, someone who supports us, and someone we don't have to second guess. Here with me is where you want to be. You're happy here, I'm happy here, and we're building something truly magnificent together. Even if it's something we've never seen, even if it's something we've never experienced, this love thing, this village that we're building is for us and for us alone, and it's going to be absolutely magnificent. That is the vibe I want to get when I watch a reality dating show. But it's giving chaos. It's giving embarrassing. It's giving struggle. It's giving, I'm going to drag you through the dirt. It's giving narcissism. It's giving, y'all need therapy. And I need therapy too, but child, not the kind of therapy y'all, not the kind of stuff they got going on Love is Blind. Love is Blind 2 has been a time. So drop your comments down below. How are you guys feeling about Love is Blind Season 2 so far? Tell me, which is your favorite couple? Who are you rooting for? Who do you think should just break up and walk off the show? I just want to hear your thoughts, your opinions. Give them to me, because I know I'm going to give them to y'all. And this is the commentary nobody asked for, but you got it anyway. So, you're welcome.